once again. Welcome, welcome. Ooh, Abu Mado, Abu Mado, Abu Mado, Abu Madoka, Abu Madoka, Doka, da 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 da, Abu Madoka. Welcome, everyone. Thank you to all my returning viewers. For the new people, my name is Chimoge. That is my given name. My second best name is Moge. Chimoge is a longer version of Moge. Moge is a better name than Chimoge. Nonetheless, Chimoge was given to me. The world is broken. I want to say this though, even though Chimoge is not a good name for someone in this world, and I want to emphasize in this world, because I'm going to begin to get more into it. We have a habit of giving people bad names. The names are bad for two reasons. One, the naming process is shallow. Naming is a process. You do not just wake up and squirt words onto someone else's life. But that is what everyone does. So because of that, nobody has what is known as an afa, name that springs from a soil that one can examine to understand oneself, and one can examine to understand those who name them so they understand what is going on in their lives. Nobody has a proper afa. No one is named properly for that reason, but also two, the aurala is in the fuel of the names. Again, aurala can be translated as evil, but it can also be fuel. That is a complicated subject, but just think of it like this. Fuel is something that you burn. Evil burns, fuel burns, there's a connection. But anyway, the aurala is in those words that we think are a name, because our name is more than the words. Those words and the accompanying sounds usually correspond to something evil. And I'll say it like this. Names that refer to the most basic form of energy, names that correlate to the father of evil, names that simply talk about skin, things like Peter and Paul and Jack and Richard and its euphemistic short form, things like that refer to evil entities. Specifically, those ones refer to Elle. So we tend to give people names that refer to evil entities. There are many reasons for that. So I'll say it like this. If I was a man living in hell, Chimoge would be the best name I could get. But I'm in heaven. This world is heaven. I should have been named something better. But I'll say it like this. Chimoge is better than Elle every day of the week. I say this because throughout my life, and I've registered 2 viewers, thank you very much. People named Jack, John, and Phil, and this, that, and the third have tried me over my name. Because I grew up in what we call the United States of America. I don't know what to do with Elle. Your father woke up and decided to not be your father by naming you after the most basic form of energy, and I'll leave it like that. Anyway, thank you to all my viewers. Every viewer, and every view is a blessing. Also, whenever you comment, I'll note that. Okay, I've received the first comment. Thank you very much. Every comment is a blessing. I read comments at my discretion. I see the number 17 on my screen. 17 viewers. 17 is the number of Eti. Basically, the beginning of a change. And now the number 13. 13 is the number of Eze, the leader. Kameze, by giving a good greeting. People do not greet well today. And worse than that, some people do not greet at all. Let me continue. Moge is my afa. Now I need a better afa, but that is the small afa. Anyway, what else am I saying here? My government name is Chimoge Chijoke Ibe. My alternate white structured name is Chimoge Chijoke Ibe Mwoko. Ibe is a shortened form of Ibe Mwoko. Something has occurred in my patrilineage, and I'll leave it like that. My matrilineage hails from the village of Ebem or Hafia in West Africa. My patrilineage wants you all to put your eyes towards the village of Algiurata as a reference point. That is my reference point for my patrilineage. Look up those 2 villages. They're in West Africa. They're in the part of West Africa that is north of the sea and west of Central Africa. And I'm trying to use natural borders to notate them. Now, when did I come into this world? I was born in what is now called Washington, D.C. I prefer to call that place the Shining Sector. Spirits have told me that is the natural name for it. And I want to add something to that. I didn't need spirits to tell me that those other names I've used to describe the place of my birth are improper. Because all we know about it is some evil people drew lines on a map and decided to use that as an excuse to restrict movement and dominate the earth. That's not proper. Anyway, I was born at the beginning of what people now refer to as 1998 during Capricorn season. I'm a son of Capricorn, and I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia. Let me give 2 other personal facts about myself. 1, I love soccer. That's my #1 favorite thing to do. That is naturally my #1 job, to play, and I want to reform the soccer world. 2, I believe that everyone should work multiple jobs and they should work them in their natural rhythm. That is part of why I do this. This job I do here, this is part of my 3rd job, which it's hard to translate into English because we've somewhat lost the concept, but I'm a person who shows things. I want to show you guys something to wake you up. Thank you very much. And if you're wondering, my 2nd job is part of showing myself in the best way. What does that mean? Many things, but an example of that is something like giving an interview. Anyway, basically that's easier for me because I don't have to tee it up. Anyway, so here on this anger segment here today, I'm trying to reach a goal. First, I want to flex. Why do I want to flex? Because I'm getting ready to record 2 segments of a pre-recorded video. Those of you who were on Chimoge's comments earlier today will have seen me give my rehearsal live stream. Here's the script for the video. It's going to be over on Chimoge's comments. So I want to make sure I have good takes. After I get off of here, I'm going to do the first recorded take for this. Because earlier, after I did that rehearsal live stream, I went and I got some food, and then I actually went to sleep. So, I'm going to do that. Secondly, there's something else I feel myself trying to figure out. I kind of want to figure out what it is, because there's a number of things I'm looking at. It's something related to art I want to figure out. It's hard for me to articulate. Let me put up some shorts. Okay. Anyway, so I'm flexing and I'm thinking. Here we go. Do I want to figure it out? place I should figure it out. And what is this? I have 3 groups of paper here. Okay, this is segment of one done. Okay. So what paper is here? Then do I want to write it? Let's think about this. I titled this segment Adoka. What is Adoka? Let me go into the concept a bit. You see, in the world today, people do not reach their maximum lifespans. There's a lot of evidence from this, both tales that come to us from the past, like thousands of years ago, and also more recent research. I'll give 2 examples I've given before. One, there is and I keep forgetting to look up his name, forgive me, but if you look up lifespan and things of that nature on Healthline, you'll be able to find it. There is a researcher who researches lifespan. He believes that we can live for thousands of years. Then some other scientists have done research and they estimate that we could live up to like the year 150. And currently, I don't know what the global average lifespan is, but in the US, the average lifespan is like the early 80s, and that's on the higher end. So obviously if we can live for thousands of years, that's much bigger. But even the more conservative estimate is saying we could add like 60 something to 70 years to lifespan. That's very different. And I think if people can envision their lives going on longer, they would plan them differently. But anyway, I'm going into this because of the concept of Adoka. What is Adol? It's many things. It's another name for Mandioha, but Adol correlates with the number 10. According to my ancestors, every life form in this world is meant to live for at least 20,000 years. The 10,000 year mark is what is known as Adol. What is Adol? That is the point where the life form has stabilized to the point where it will not break down without just someone waging war on them, okay? So, Adoka, physically, that's how it manifests. And then every category of existence will go on at least double that. But the vast majority naturally go on way longer than that. And forgive me, that's Adol, where you get to the 10,000 mark. But then the last 10% of your life, that is Adoka. That's where you expand upon the Adol, where you fully unified. So that's the concept, right? And I'm thinking about that a lot because I want to improve health in the world, improve lifespan, things of that nature. So I titled this Adoka just because that came to me. And I'm really meditating upon that concept. And I'll expand upon that more. Yes. And again, let me clarify. Every life form in this world is meant to reach at least reach the age 20,000 at least. The 10,000 year mark, half of that is Adol. Then, based on your category of life, you'll live out some number of years. Like apparently our category of life is supposed to live for at least 270,000 years, and then the maximum lifespan for us is 300,000. Again, this is what they told me. It sounds fantastical until you look at evidence, and then we have to accept there's a lot we don't know, and also there's a lot we're doing wrong. When people make so many basic health mistakes and they add up on each other, we have to admit we don't even really know fully our capacity. For example, you have a lot of people who take in harmful substances. When people are doing that day after day, they don't know their capacity. Okay. And then also emotionally, we have to admit, for most people, living past 100 seems fantastical, even though we've seen people do it. If we lived in a world where, on average, people were living to 150, I think our mindsets would be different. And then, of course, if people start hitting the thousands mark, I think psychologically we're in a different place. Anyway, the whole point I'm making is I'm trying to talk about this concept, right? Adol, that's when you unify, 10,000 year mark. Then the last 10% of your lifespan, that's Adoka, because for some reason that's when you fully expand upon your unification. So, for example, if you have someone in our category of life who's meant to live for 300,000 years, at the 10,000 year mark, they were Adol. They reach Adol, the ultimate goal. That's one translation for it. Shango is another translation for it. Unify. Then when they turn 270,000 years old, they reach the expansion of that thing, and then they're just in a new state of being. And there's other, stages of being in between that. I don't know as much about those, but, apparently those are important too. But anyway, that's what I've been thinking about. And I'll add this. We have a plethora of organizations and thought systems that talk about the concept of everlasting life and things of that nature. I would say that speaks to our collective innate feeling that we're not maximizing our lifespan. There's a habit of looking at so-called old people and thinking they must feel some sort of completion because they've reached what we conceive to be a high age, but almost none of those people really feel when they're healthy like they've reached their goal, you see. So I want to say this. When I think about the concept of living for 300,000 years, I think that gives me a level of satisfaction that is greater than the idea of passing away and living forever in another realm. Another way of saying that is I think that idea mentally gives me what most people are looking for when they engage with those thought systems. At the same time, given what I have seen and not seen in the state of the world, it is hard for me to imagine the details of getting to that place. So, when I present this information, I'm not pretending that it doesn't feel weird, and I'm not also saying that I have all the answers. I don't. All I know is that there's evidence for it, both emotionally and physically, and I can see 10 million things we're doing wrong. At the very least, if we act more positively, we can maximize our lifespans, because I just really don't think, given the collective state of ill health and unhealthy practices, that we're maximizing it. So, yeah. Anyway. Okay, art. Let's see. First of all, I'm not sure, because I'm back thinking on the art thing I'm trying to figure out. I'm not sure. Do I want to write this down? Because you guys know me, I have an interesting relationship with writing. I don't want to overdo it. At the same time, I understand sometimes there's nothing. And then I've spent a large percentage of my life working using writing a lot. Do I want to write down this solution? No, I think let me just think it up here, and then I'll figure out more concretely what I'm trying to do, because it has to do with my workflow. I've improved it a lot, but I just feel like my process of adding art into my video clips could be better. I think that's really what it is. I feel like it could be better. Let me not hit with that end. I might smash it. Yeah. envision it. How to make the process smoother. Because there's two aspects of it that annoy me. One, keeping track of all the parts, because all the art pieces I make for videos have various components. And then two, it's just like the movement between different things, for lack of a better quick term, to put it together. Like, for example, moving from the video editor to the place where the files are kept, the process of editing. But are those two things just outside of my comfortable skill set? That's a question. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Is there a point in highly stressing about this? And then there's a third thing, because sometimes I record segments for different videos and then they're on my device. But I'm just wondering, because there's a part of me that always debates, should I just record for one video at once? But that's not how my mind works. Because sometimes I've recorded some segments for one video and then I'm like, all right, let's get on the other one. But then it's annoying to have to go back. Okay. Should I record now? I'm not quite feeling that. Thank you for all your comments. I read comments at my discretion. You good. Thank you for that comment. I appreciate it. That comment is from Zenitsu Edits. Thank you. Thank you to other people who said hi. Just thinking here. This limitation, should I accept it for now, though? Or should I just frame it differently? You know what? This is the other thing I was thinking. I kind of wasn't looking at it for a second. My rhythm in recording is, if I'm recording pre-recorded videos, is to do a pre-recorded video that go live. Pre-recorded then live. Because I don't like it when my work isn't out immediately. But maybe I need a third thing. I think that's art. But what kind of art am I doing? You know what? Maybe I just need to add in more pleasure art time. I think it's very simple. And then that stuff will go on this network. I think that's it. Anyway, thank you very much. I've gotten to the goal. I'm going to begin my cycle. Check it out. I've already done one live stream on Shimoge's comments today. There are definitely going to be some other Hand of God segments. Please check all that out. Yeah, and as usual, patronize my business. See you guys next time.